This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day. Carefully crafted for you by humans, so meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Fully Managed podcast. Thank you, Dustin, so much for joining me today. Of course. Well, today we are going to start with a game per usual. However, I like to change my games in mind for the guest that is joining me. So today you have a personalized game catered for you. So this game is called Human or AI. So what I'm going to do is I am going to give you some sample prompts of copy that are either human written or AI style.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's going to be fun, right? Yeah, this is dangerous.
This is a setup. It's a setup.
It's a setup. No, it's okay. I love these kinds of games because sometimes, especially hearing something out loud, it's very different because a lot of people are looking for those M dashes and such. So sometimes things are easy when they're read, but when you're looking at them, but when they're read out loud, it might sound the same. So this will be a tricky one. So I don't blame you if you get anything wrong. No one blame Dustin. He's very good at this.
Let me just say, I am always this red. This is not embarrassment. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It's okay. I'm also always pink. I'm that is just the color of me. So it's okay. Alrighty, Dustin, are you ready?
I am. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. So, first message. Hey, just wanted to check in and see if you've tried our new feature. It's like giving your inbox a superpower. It's not.
Really? Please stop saying superpower.
It's just badly human.
Superpower.
I agree. I do not. This. Oh God, I didn't realize.
I
don't even think I want to give you the next one because it's so obvious. I don't even.
Oh no! Don't say that. Now I'm definitely going to get it wrong.
Oh no! Well, let's. Let's see. I think you'll get it immediately. Greetings, user.
Oh God! Yeah. Okay. That's definitely an alien.
Definitely human. Definitely human.
That's AI for sure.
Oh yeah. That one I should have thought about a little more. Maybe a little more tricky. Okay, the next one, however. Stop scrolling. Your competition isn't waiting. Click here and watch your sales inbox start doing cartwheels.
Oh. Here's the thing, because AI copies us. A lot of bad copywriting, but I'm going to say this is AI.
This is human copy.
I am not doing well at this. We're
No, it's okay.
Whole segment out.
I think what's fair, to be fair to you, is that these are things that should not be sent out by humans. However, they are made by humans, which is you're indicating that if something is poorly written, that it is AI, which is a fair assumption. However, humans also write things poorly as well sometimes.
Write terrible things.
Yeah, exactly. So it happens. So I think that I can see your point of view. Okay, next one. We are delighted to announce the synergistic optimization of your user engagement paradigm effective immediately.
And you better not have got that.
Yes. I'm happy that this one was AI because I really do hate when people hide behind jargon. Probably it's something that angers me the most because I'm like, if your customers can't understand what the heck you do, then you're not going to get many.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm noticing with AI is just so much superpower. Having a superpower isn't what's going to hook me. It's like, what is that? What does it do?
Tell me more. Give me a little more detail. Okay, final one. I love this one. Okay, imagine a tiny penguin in a business suit selling your product. That's basically what our automation does. Yeah.
I actually kind of like that. I don't hate it.
I love that.
Depending on what else is on the page, like the creative, that can be really, really good, honestly.
Jovial and wholesome.
Yeah,
point. I love that. Thank you for entertaining me with this game. I think you got 3 out of 5. I think that's pretty good. And the ones that you got wrong, I think honestly were pretty fair. But anyway, Dustin, thank you so much for joining me today again. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your journey up to this point, what you're doing today, a little bit of everything, maybe a fun fact, to let us know a little glimpse into your personality outside of your professional role, and everything that you think is relevant.
Sure. So, yeah, I am a manager for campaign content at ManyChat right now. And this has been quite a journey for me to get to this place. I've been doing this for 45 in 2 days, so 19 years.
Congratulations.
So I've done just about everything. I got my start, got lucky, and got to write for a paper in San Antonio. Did some nightlife coverage. I was a bartender for 11 years. Wound up getting my first syndicated column, which was all about educating people on like Manhattan and fun background, why they do things, and then just progressed from there. And got to write for Thrillist. Right as they were getting into kind of their heyday, I wrote for the Chive, where we did a lot of memes, but I also got to really got into script writing there. And unfortunately, COVID rolled around while I was there, so I got laid off. It was just totally a monetary thing. But I decided to manage that, and I went into UX for a year. And I will say, because I apply their research about what their expectations are, and it's the best thing. And I went and worked on for a publishing company. I've worked for a men's health company. I've done freelance. I run my own business. I have done contracts. So I've done just about everything. I like writing. I'm super lucky that I get to do what my actual second was. I always wanted to be a firefighter, and did courses, extraction training, submitted application. But unfortunately, you cannot run in burning buildings when you have a ground. So I can do that. And I was
a bit fair.
Yeah, so I went back to school, got my degree, and the rest is...
Darn, I'm sorry about the firefighter thing. That's so sad. It's your dream. You can watch a lot of...
Who knows where I would be, anything could have happened, but I have 2 beautiful kids, a great wife, a wonderful job, so I'm going to...
Yeah, no, that is a really great phase. And it is a little daunting and terrifying to be a firefighter and have a family. So I think that, maybe dodge a bullet there, maybe dodge a fire. For lack of better phrasing, but that is really, really awesome. And I want to talk about both of these professional careers maybe a bit separately, but first kind of how they involve each other. So, as the founder of Dooling Copy, you've written for various brands and formats. How do you bring your independent copywriting sensibility into the larger institutional voice, which is ManyChat, which are I see very differently?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a great question. I think that sometimes so I'll say in regards to ManyChat, I'm super lucky because the brand I write, I was brought in, and like we talked about earlier, we like to bring implications, so more showing, less telling, and we really like to leave out but I also find that for me, the most important thing that I do to get into a brand, I think companies that are doing it right are make them feel heard. You're working with them. So the first thing I typically somewhere, if they have sales calls, I'll listen, see how the people they're using, if they're using jargon. In my opinion, that's the best way to enter your voice in a place. And so if I go somewhere and rather than voice that about how we're doing sort of thing. So it's kind of a double-sided question, because if their voice worked on, but to me, it's all about listening.
Yeah, I think that's something that's really important because, and I just had a conversation earlier today, actually, with someone that talking about how even though clients are your focus, or many businesses' focuses, for whatever reason, it feels like the way in which they think is sometimes disregarded. Because people, I think, go into their business or creating their business agency, whatever it may be, and have this vision of what it should be, and they're kind of blindsided by the idea that some people see them differently or want things that they have, but they're not properly putting out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of, especially, it's hard to lose that speaking from the other side of the people that don't know, and they don't have your KPIs and your OKRs, so they're not driven by anything other than what your product. But it can be really, really hard to deal from, I wrote this really cool, I really like. And for you, it makes, I read something this morning, and I don't always agree with this, but if you have to explain a headline, depending on what you're writing for, I don't always agree with that, but that kind of applies if your headline is serving you. you failed. And I always go back to will be saying the only real like measure of the success of a copywriter is if it's not, well, it doesn't matter how funny it is, how cute it is, how many awards you win, how many LinkedIn followers you get. That's not the measure of success. That's a vanity. You are running my own business. Like I write.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's a really great distinction to make, because that is something that should be held of high regard and of most importance, but is unfortunately maybe disregarded more than we would like. People who are centered in that opinion. Speaking of like these parameters that you might be given if you're working with a specific industry, company, or whatever it may be, are there specific constraints? Maybe you can talk about how working with ManyChat is of like that you lean into creatively that you think are helpful. Because I think that a lot of times when people talk about constraints, they talk about them stifling creativity, but I don't know if that's always necessarily true.
I think that bumpers are sometimes it's any number of things to hit on. You're going to get to your best when we work, and this kind of goes back. You see him, hey, now we can build. What is the purpose here? Like, this is me wanting to do anything with it. Like, cool ad. I'm an ad person, so that appeals to me. But if people that aren't into marketing and ads, they're just going to go, oh, neat, and move on. I kind of lost my...
No, but I want to use a specific example of one of the pieces that you've written. So like Step Right Up, a masterclass on TikTok attention seeking.
Yeah, to me, I like having character, and typically, like, I love doing hero work on pages, and I love with our team at ManyChat, we have brand X that's like, hey, these are all the things to say, these are all the features we want to highlight. Oh, and you have 6 words. And to me, it's like, holy crap. The funnest thing for me is like solving that puzzle of, obviously, I owe these stakeholders side, but also I'm convert. So the more I feel like the easier it is for me is to like scale down that space, which allows me to get to like the quality creative. Just like, hey, write a headline for Ford. I'm like, which car? Like, what? Like, where is it? Like, what? Like, I can write a badass headline about Ford. But who is it for? Like, everybody? So it's for nobody. So yeah, like the more granular information that I have about like who the customer is, like the placement, even all the way down to like character counts and number of words. Like if you show me where it's going to appear on the page, like, hey, it's going to be next to this graphic. So it kind of needs to play with that. The more, honestly, that you can funnel all that down for me, and also the final underscore, no, really, final underscore, like 2 underscores maybe is my maximum. We get in the 3rd underscore, and I'm like, okay, this is out of control. We're starting over.
No, I appreciate like that outlook, because I think that constraints are looked at negatively sometimes, but I think that it almost gives you the ability to think more innovatively and like also creatively, because you have like you can let your imagination run wild when you don't have constraints, but at the same time you might also be stifled by the ability to be able to think of anything, because I don't know.
It's similar to choice paralysis. So you start coming up with all these great ideas, but without constraints, it's harder to know, like, what is the specific that I need to go to? And you get to that point, like, we all will throw out a great line and be like, this is, and usually it's, so, like, if I specifically need, like, a in my headline, that's amazing. Or if I specifically need to mention a or multiple feature in my subheader, amazing, because then I can build and construct around that. And the whole thing, honestly, one of the first things I did when we rewrite a bunch of that we had hired before, and I don't know if you know how PMAC, they're pulled from 3 different copy placements, and it's all random. You don't know which can line up, and they hadn't really taken that into account. So we would have creative, a headline, a description, and primary copy, none of it. And so, like, the more we're able to, like, funnel things in and, like, be, like, more intentional in our creative, and the better off.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's different metrics that you're kind of considering for these kinds of things. How do you make sure content for your campaigns have, like, this meaning beyond performance? Like, what is, like, the sole metric for you?
Yeah, I think that... And this will contradict kind of what I'm saying, but it all makes it, for me, I start with it. And how do I take the big idea for this campaign? Like right now it's about like what creators are of their opportunity. And it's not because of overwhelm. It's just they don't realize what they're missing. They don't see it. They don't know, like, hey, this DM could have been like your next big collaboration. And so like getting those kind of insights and that specificity and being able to get granular about, well, like even just at 70%. So it's all about like concept. Okay, now what is like the actual granular information? And the granular information to me is part of those bumpers. It's part of those kinds. Okay, now this is the real big granular, the real specificity. How do I really all work? And so they're like, oh shit, that's me. So I always start with like big idea, opportunity to add delight, what makes, and either like, uh-oh, or hell yes, So like I try to always like work those things. So a big idea, which will really usually inform like the opportunity for delight, whether it's a trope that I lean into, whether it's like a rhyme or whether it's just something catchy or, pithy, like whatever it is, like those two go together, bringing in that, like, what is that?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of elements to that are important, specifically with where the data is confirmed, like what you need to consider when creating that with the parameters, but also like kind of seeding a little personality into there. Like, there's pride that comes with, putting something out there that, you're like, that's I made that, and like that's right. And I think that's something that obviously that shouldn't be the utmost importance of, but you should also be like proud of what you're creating, and if you're not, then maybe that's not like representative of the company or yourself well.
Yeah, I think that like a lot of it comes down to respecting somebody, like I'll handle creative strategy and he'll almost always, we have a great relationship. And so like we actually just we're talking about this the other day, like he went into my document stuff and I was like, hey, just make sure that you're, for me, so that I know why you're doing this. Like I know that you have all this experience working with influencers.
Yeah.
So it's like always having that. And I think that's probably the most, or that you.
Yeah, it's really important to be able to learn and grow in your career. And I think that a lot of people disregard feedback from other places because they're like, oh, well, they're not an expert in my field. So yeah, you don't know what I've been through. But it is like, it is important because there are people in different professions all over that are going to be reading your copy. It's not like your copy isn't for copywriters. They're for regular people that are, not that you're irregular, but they're for your average person that, can be any kind of different occupation depending on the industry that you're, providing for.
Right, like if you want to write look at me stuff, right? When you're copywriting, and like I even struggle with this time, so married to something, I'm like, just such a good line, and like the people work with. And if it was closer to the point of the campaign, we would use it, but it's just a little off, and this is why. But again, that comes back to what was there a constraint I could have had early on that could have come more on that, and the more could just pass like good, but not right, and then like our CMO,
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And that's really important to get feedback so that you can get to that place where like everyone is proud and happy of what it is. Like, obviously you can't always make everyone happy, but to be able to have that ability is always helpful. And like your team should be able to help you get to that place. And exploring more of like your personal touch to your work, you kind of talk a lot about imposter syndrome and like creative anxiety. How do you nurture your own creative energy while leading a team? Like how do you help your team feel the same way maybe you want to be feeling?
All and making sure they're together and then it's tough, but for me, there's some rules that I typically like. I mean, I don't know references are usually, and tropes are you. I think what I mentioned earlier, this your copy. So much of what we do is about it's about them being at point A right now. But when they are, and if I'm creating an element memorable, something that makes it before, oh, that's me, then when they are ready to go, and so that's an important thing. You have the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think remember, if we treated everything as, and rather than, I know on my page, like, damn it, but not just converting and using that language, but being memorable, being a part of that is the most important.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that it should be valued of like making someone feel something, like maybe if it's not exactly delight, but like an emotion in which you are trying to appeal to, because that is exactly what words are supposed to be doing most of the time. I think it's like if you're being very hollow with your messaging, or you're just being maybe informative or whatever it may be, that's not really going to be eye-catching in the noise.
Easy, and there's a time and a place for it, but like negatives or negative relationships is like I don't really like them. I don't like you, and for that reason, I'm not really big in FOMO. I think honestly, like the ads terrifying. People more like, hey, this is this cool fun thing we add. You should come and do it, and you should come and use it, and here's why. Not like, oh, all these people using this, and I'm making way more money than you. What the hell is wrong with you? Like, that's an angle. Like, why would I want to add more of that to someone's day? So that's something I really try to avoid. And like, even like, again, going back to my pay to my growth team, too much FOMO. And they're like, not possible. And I'm like, absolutely possible. You're making people feel bad. I don't want them to feel bad. I want them to be excited to use us, not feel bad that they're not. So for me, like there's some old school tropes, and FOMO is one of them that I really just try to lean from because I'm not done with like more FOMO. And I'm like, no, mofo.
No, I definitely agree. I completely agree with you. I feel like anytime I feel FOMO, I try to think of back in a certain era, we didn't know about everyone doing everything all the time, and I think that was probably healthier. There's certain things that maybe we should know about, and it's good to have word being spread, but the printing press is evil, and this is why it has created the internet thus. And we all know too much all the time, and that's why we get FOMO all the time. And now people are taking advantage of it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, be upbeat. Like, maybe it's a fart joke. I don't know what it is, but something makes them like, hey, that was funny. I can't believe they did that. I would rather do that.
Yeah, and I think truly good and attractive things do not need that element. I think that's like part of it too, is it's like if your product is really so good, then everyone should want it. Like everyone should want it. Not because everyone else has it, but because they want it because it's cool. Like, I don't know. If you think about like silly little studies like Labubu's, like that, people do want that because they see that everyone else has it, but they've never used marketing that's like everyone else has this. They've done, like specific things of like, maybe they're feeding off of FOMO and the idea that they have limited drops. But there's elements of kind of maybe using that mentality, but not directly making someone feel awful about themselves in advertising.
You hit on it when you said like, so much of it is about your product. There's like, will be some copywriter and people think are a big part of it. And to me, my job is your product, the niche, and my job is the people, or like be the connector. You want this already, but here's why, and here's what it can do for you. Yeah. I'm not creating it. So I think that's a big two sides.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. I think that I think it's very important to know, like who you are as a professional in general, but like also to define your moral and ethical standings are really important in a professional career. Some people do not always have the luxury of being able to define those things, but it is really lovely to have them and know like what you want in that area, because you'll probably get more projects that you enjoy doing.
Doing what you like. We always do. I mean, we've all gone through this. Every writer has gotten a write for a product like, oh, I love this. Like, this is so fun. And then it just comes out like because you're engaged. And so, I mean, the climate right now is such that I would never tell quit that job and get something that's better for you, but find a way to, this is an important lesson for like, as you're trying to engage your customer. If you can't come up with whatever we say we go third. So like, so what? If you can't get to a third, so what? If you can't get to the benefit, you need to go back and like where you are and who your target audience and customer are, because there's everything that I sell or everything that I put always. Porsche and Volkswagen used to be so amazing at this. Their ads would skip over the first benefit. So like you would buy a Porsche, and they would go immediately to like, they had one famous was something like, it was like an excuse to leave your kids at home. Like, finally, like your excuse to get away from your kids. And I'm like, that probably wouldn't fly in 2025 because there's some other things going there, but
at the
that's
time,
a human truth. It's a big benefit that creates a human truth. And if you can create a human truth that people are like, oh yeah, then you're going to get like, and there's another one that's like the Volkswagen, the jokes like add about how many, like in your Volkswagen van, like how many women you can pick up. Again, not going to fly in 2025, but it's that intrinsic human truth. It's that benefit. And I feel like I always try to get there. And a lot of people call it like multiple levels. I think Shlomo calls it like ask so what 3 times. And that's great. And I always want, what's the benefit of the benefit? Now, what's the benefit? And Dan Nelson's really good about that. He talks a lot about the.
Yeah, and I really like the case studies in which you kind of referred to there, because there is so many things that you have to be able to find more than one reason that you're valuable, because if you can only find that one thing, then maybe you're not as valuable as you think you are, or maybe you're just not thinking about how potential clients would look for you and why they would look at you.
Well, yeah, that's so important. And I would go back to kind of what we're doing right now and how it will be super easier for us, because the feature spin the whole thing is like, you're buried under all these messages, you can't get to them, but that's not the problem. And so it's really, really important that you're solving has, hey, you're missing them, you don't realize. And you could probably get to them if you realize how important all these messages are. But if you can, not because you're too busy, but because you're going to focus. So it's just like more of a human truth than a catch-all of like, we're all buried every day. Like, whatever, that's not human.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's something that, especially if it's a common problem, then you definitely need to think of other ways in which, make you stand out from the rest. And since we are a little over time, but I do want to talk about something that I think is kind of helpful to the community, if you would say, for not that all of this isn't, but what do you feel is, if someone was trying to break into your career, right? What do you think is the best piece of advice that you would offer them that maybe you wish you knew when you started, or something of that nature?
This won't apply, but you need to know how to work to handle things that are repetitive. Like we talked about when you, I will legitimately use it to do some of the ideating I use sometimes all day, which would be applying rhetorical devices, different rhetorical devices, trying to delight, and now I can have AI hey, been most popular. Okay, here's the copy I have written. Now apply, give me 3 versions of this. Mm-hmm. And then it jumpstarts me. I never go, oh yeah, that's the one, but it'll get me so much. So I think and like I said, this is going to be super controversial, but if I was a writer, a copywriter, ethical way, they're okay with, you feel like you have to have a computer when you're doing that you can sell. So that I started, make good money. For me, some days if I have to do PMAX ad placements and meta ad 300 lines. So there's absolutely no way. But from AI, completely rip. And then I'll also we've all run into this. It'll hallucinate that. Oh, I just made that up. And it's holy. So get as much of that information from your actual go to AI when you have that and say, okay, now I need to take this 4 Notion pages and I need to write a 7-word headline. And that's where I will start. I just say some of that is the writing and the connection your brain makes to the writing and the typing. And that's absolutely true. But so that's what I would copywriter starting. Get good with it. Figure out, you understand where it's going and the best ways. We have our own research, all the all of our customers.
Yeah, no, that's a really fair point, because it's unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you believe, it's not going away. So, and it's only going to get more advanced. And of course, everyone kind of needs to learn how to incorporate it in their workloads at this time, because the expectation of output is going to increase more and more as it gets more advanced. And you might be left behind if you do not know how to use it in some fashion to be able to increase that. And maybe that sucks a little. But it's also important and really sound advice. Also, where you mentioned moral and ethical concerns about that specifically. Do it within your comfort zone. If there are certain things that you don't believe you should be using it for, then don't do that, as long as it doesn't impede on your ability to meet your deadlines on a regular basis. Then I completely agree with what you're saying. You just need to learn how to use it effectively in a way that works for you. And that I think is really great.
In your human instincts, I don't write anything straight out. So there's other people, and there's been times that but you know what that tells me?
I love M dashes. Don't be mean.
I can rewrite that. And don't.
No, exactly. Yeah, people can pick it out now, so maybe not. But Dustin, thank you so much for joining me today. This was an absolute pleasure. This was full of really, really useful knowledge that I think for copywriters specifically, we don't have as many on the show because normally we're talking about marketing or creative, and it was really exciting to have you on the show because one, I got to learn some things, which is selfishly my favorite part of doing the show. But I think that this will be incredibly valuable for people watching.
I'd love to come back and talk about it. You just might want to give me more time because I'm long-winded.
No, you did an incredible job. And do not worry, we covered a lot of things that I was planning on. So there's no, don't worry about that at all. But this was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you guys for watching. I hope that you had a great time. Please check out Dustin in the description, and check out other episodes. Thank you guys
Don't
so
send
much.
me messages hating on me about AI, please.
Don't send any mean messages to Dustin. I'll find you. But thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
You've been listening to Fully Managed, brought to you by Penji. Check out the show notes to learn more about today's guest, and to learn more about Penji, the human-first creative subscription service, head over to penji.co. And by the way, if you're still listening, it would mean the absolute world to us if you were to share this podcast with a friend, and of course, subscribe.